Hey everybody, what's going on? It's me, John D. Villarreal. Here we go. We are live. It's the day. I'm wearing my freedom shirt. Here we go. It's a big, we were right. I told you, if you've been listening to the show, it was a huge Trump win last night. Unbelievable. You had a big Trump win. It's just unreal. I mean, Trump just won by margins that we've never, ever seen in recent memory on the Republican side. It was a massive, massive win by Trump, and we just got to hand it to him. And the team, honestly, we got to hand it to them. The team, yes, and you, and us. We predicted it. We told you it was going to happen. We told you what was going to go down. You had a lot of stuff out there in the media, a lot of gaslighting, a lot of spin, a lot of different things, and Haley was surging. What happened? It went down the way that we said it was going to go down. Trump, number one by a lot, broke 50%. We're going to get to the numbers here in a second. Maybe joined by Paul Villarreal. We'll see. DeSantis, number two. What happened to the Haley surge? What happened to all that stuff? What happened to independents? You could register the day of, and the crossover vote and the independents and stuff. And when you saw the breakdown of where the support is for Haley, the support for Haley is in, from what I saw from the polls, is in moderate, college educated, suburban, I think suburban men. That's the base of support in Iowa, okay? That doesn't exactly tell you a conservative nationwide movement or anything like that. I mean, really, if you looked at the sea of counties, it was just red everywhere for Trump. Trump was winning all demographics. I don't know that there's a demographic that Trump lost. It probably may be somewhere in there, but there's no rationale. And this is where you could register, I believe, the day of and do the crossover vote. So really, you had a lot of Democrats potentially supporting Governor Haley, Ambassador Haley. And in the whole, yes, she did come up. She did, move up a bit. But from the hype and from the media train, totally underperformed, in my opinion. Massively underperformed. Well, that's a little too strong. Underperformed from what the hype train was. And I think if you look from 2 months ago, yeah, she's in a much better spot now. No doubt about it. Okay. So credit to her and the team and whatever happened there. And a lot of that was the fall of DeSantis. But you have to say, and you got to give credit to the DeSantis crew and team and Governor DeSantis himself. And I said it in the show yesterday on News Talk 1040, right? Here in Tampa, in the greater Tampa Bay area. I'm here in Sarasota and Tampa and Clearwater, all these places. That it was really a shame because Governor DeSantis has such a better record. He has a phenomenal record. He needed to take control of his campaign. Don't look or sound like a super PAC puppet, as Vivek would say, and really tout that record. And I remember the ads where DeSantis was basically like a Me Too Trump acolyte almost. Okay, Trump without the baggage. That's what Trump without the tweets. That's how it was kind of sold to the electorate, right? So he needed to revisit that, if you will, to some degree, or at least reimagine that, or invoke that kind of campaign and get back to the core principles, if you will. And there's some that say, and I'm just trying to, this is why you listen to the show, because I tell you what's up. I mean, you could say whatever, oh, John, you this and that, and blah, 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 blah. You got a lot of haters. You got a lot of different things out there. Let me see if I can find this. Let's get this right here.
John, you really need to be more humble, and nobody's watching your show, and it's not who, first of all, players, it's not who, it's not how many, it's who. Okay, we'll get to that. And you just need to. And what do you know anyway? And I'm the general manager, and blah, 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 and I've run campaigns, and I like Nikki Haley, and I don't like Trump, and I'm not going to vote for Trump, and blah, blah, blah.
Okay, let me tell you something right now. Okay. That's all nonsense. That's fine. People could do whatever they want to do. And that's it. But here's the deal. If you look at my track record, first of all, you're talking to someone that is legit a super genius. Okay. We've done that. We've proven that. This is not about, patting myself on the back, but I do have to take and that's true. I'm with Cat Williams. I'm with Cat Williams right now. And we're going to lay it down. Winners cannot let losers rewrite history. To quote Cat Williams, and I'm going with that. Winners cannot let losers rewrite history. And here's the point. I'm so sick of all the people that told me that Trump was done. It's over. DeSantis is the guy. I mean, I had to listen to all this stuff. You're dealing. Okay, let's just go. This is, we're going to walk down memory lane for a second for me. I'm a legit super genius. I've been involved in politics almost all of my life. Okay. My dad was big time in the government. My brother's pretty big time in government. Okay. Both of those, my dad and my brother were like, potentially recruited, asked to maybe be serving different Democrat administrations. Okay. Clinton and Biden. Okay. So, didn't happen, but they were in that conversation. Okay. So I've been exposed to this. I've met George Miller. I've shaken hands with Senator Boxer I believe, if I remember correctly. I mean, I had Willie Brown write for my Speaker Brown and Mayor Brown for my paper in law school. Bill Bennett. I mean, Ed Meese. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on. Okay, I've shaken hands with Henry Kissinger. I've shaken hands with Donald Trump. I've got the autographs. I mean, there's so many different things that I can go. I've been Colonel Allen West, Rick Santorum. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Bo Snerdley, who real name James Golden. I've exchanged emails with Tucker Carlson. I've exchanged emails with Kayleigh McEnany. So you can say whatever, players, but that's not you. Okay. And I'm not punking you out, but I'm saying when I say something, I know what I'm talking about. I've run campaigns. I've consulted for U.S. Senate campaigns in 2 coasts. I have a degree in political science from UC Berkeley. I have a law degree from UC Berkeley. I have a master's in communications with 4.0 from Johns Hopkins. I have an MBA from Johns Hopkins with honors, Beta Gamma Sigma. I can go on and on and on. And when I make these calls, whether it's on this live show right here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, or it's on the radio on John D. Villarreal Show. And by the way, I've been told that that my talent. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to be kind, but I've been lauded by management about how good the show is and you can't hear it anywhere else. I've been told by Jack Swanson, a legend in the business, that I'm a natural talent, that I'm national level, okay? So that's not you. And the point is when I say something, I'm speaking from authority. I'm speaking from a place of expertise. I'm speaking from knowledge. And you have to respect that. No different than if I go on the track and I'm talking to Carl Lewis, or I'm on the basketball court and I'm talking to Michael Jordan, or I'm talking whatever, I'm going to respect that because that's not me. When I go to my doctor or I go to my dentist, and they don't have to be national famous, and they don't have to, I listen to them because they're experts, because they have expertise. Doesn't have, do you see what I'm saying? I'm right sometimes, I'm wrong sometimes, but I'm right more than I'm wrong, particularly about this. And the fact that everyone can jump on here and do a podcast and everyone can vote and everyone thinks that they're an expert, and they're not. But my calls have been right, and I had to listen, and I have to, we're going to take the lap here, as Cat Williams said. We're going to take the lap, Trump voters, because I've had a situation where I had to listen to people that had no experience, that were armchair quarterbacks. These are the people that they'll watch a game on Sunday, and they're going to tell you, they should have done this, and they should have done that. Never played a snap in the NFL. Not one. Not as a water boy, second string, third string, or anything like that. May not even played in college. Some didn't even play in high school. And they're going to tell you what the quarterback, Joe Montana should have done this. Brett Favre should have done that. Aaron Rodgers shouldn't say this. They're going to tell you all this stuff because they're experts, right? Armchair quarterbacks. As they crack open that beer or the water or whatever it is. And they're going to tell you they're going to tell you what it is. My old wrestling coach, Orlando P. Turco, up in Ithaca, New York. So there's 2 types of athletes, Sean. There's has-beens and never was. Well, I'm a has-been in athletics, okay? But I was there. I was at the dance. I can tell you what it is. I was at the world-class level. I trained professional athletes. That is a fact, okay? That is a fact. And now I have a lot of other facts like that. And what happened last night was a dropping of facts by Donald Trump. I told you that Trump was going to steamroll this. I told you that Governor Reynolds' endorsement wasn't going to do enough. I told you that DeSantis wasn't going to win. I told you that Nikki Haley, that campaign, there's a lot of AstroTurf there. There's a lot of left-wing self-pushing. You can't switch that fast. You have the influencers, DeSantis, because you have a conglomeration of folks that do not want to see Trump back in the White House, that wanted, that whether it's the conservative Inc. or the never Trumpers or the liberals or the bureaucrat deep state, fill in the blanks. Okay. And I told you that there's people that they jumped on the DeSantis bandwagon and we're going to be, it's the Cruz crew all over again. Often by their own admission. I was listening to this on the, I told you on my radio show yesterday, I was literally listening to Steve Deace or Deese or however, I don't know. I apologize. I would love to pronounce it right. I'm going to go with Glenn Beck's pronunciation of Steve Deace. I believe that's what it is. My recollection, not alleged anything. And Glenn Beck talking about, oh yeah, and the Cruz crew and all that and influencers. And you know, we had that picture with Lisa Booth and Buck Sexton and these different people there down there, you know, with DeSantis. And listen, it's a shame. DeSantis is the best governor ever in the state of Florida at least in modern times, in my recollection. Okay. But there's a lot of people that feel like he betrayed Trump, maybe felt like he may have sold out. I'm not saying that. I'm not alleging that. And that he's not personable, not accessible. I can't call up that, Tallahassee or that campaign or whatever and expect he's going to come on the air. I don't even bother because I know they're not. And why? You're not lighting things up here, bro. You're probably going to lose your own state. I mean, whereas Vivek and Trump will do almost anything. It's just a different vibe. Being, rolling up your sleeves, being out there now. Listen, he spent time in Iowa. And again, I'm not making this personal. It doesn't matter. Nobody needs to come on the John D. Villarreal show. That's not about me. It's about the candidates and how they interact with the public, right? And you've got Trump, who is literally a billionaire, a worldwide global star, former president, who will shake hands, who will walk into UFC, and everyone's just like going crazy for Trump. He'll do it. That's the difference. That's the difference, okay? And so I just knew that people had enough. They had enough of this administration. I talked to people. I can't tell you how many people I talked to that hit up my phone from all, different parts of the country, from, MAGA parts, from blue states, from blue cities, from, academia, policy. I talked to a lot of different people. And even people that have voted for that Biden, I don't ask them specific. Some tell me, some might, but I know they're liberals. I know they don't like Trump. They're not happy with the current situation. They're not happy with $6-7 plus for not even a gallon, or sometimes it's a gallon, but let's just call it a gallon of orange juice. Let alone gas, let alone rent, let alone insurance, house insurance. Stack it up. And it's just too much. You know what I mean? Like, I've got my wife who's constantly looking at what's going on in the Middle East. I totally understand that. That's where she's from. Ukraine, I know a lot of people around here, that they're from Eastern Europe or Ukraine or different places like that. I mean, we've got what's going on in Yemen. We've got different things in Taiwan. We've got worldwide problems. And people want to change, dude. They say, hey, you know what? Tweets, everything aside, whoever, I grew up a Democrat, this and that, whatever. Guess what? I know 4 years ago, it was different than now. 5 years ago, it was different than now. This is crazy. People want off the crazy train. That's what it is. So in that mix, when you put that together, when you put that as the baseline, right? People can say Trump has a track record. You can't say, oh my gosh, he's so scary. We've had him in office before. It wasn't that scary. Things were good. Maybe not perfect. Maybe he said some things we didn't like, or he was stupid, or tweets, or okay. I can live with that if I have a job. I can live with that if my kids are safe in schools. I can live with that if we're not in wars. I can live with that if I can afford a house. This is real life, dude. People are sick of living in the academic lounge and cartoon land and meme land and Instagram. Life isn't Instagram. People have to feed their kids, pay their mortgages, pay their all this stuff. People. So which candidates were speaking to that? Obviously, Trump. Why would I vote for alternatives or the Me Too, or I'm going to be Trump with fresh legs, or I'm going to be Trump in 5-inch heels, or whatever it is, or I'm going to be Trump, but I have a record in Florida without the mean tweets, whatever the rationale is, and when I can have Trump. You know what I mean? Like, if I want ice cream, I'm going to go get chocolate ice cream. I'm not going to get the fifth substitute for that. It kind of tastes like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you might do that for other reasons, but if you want the real deal, you want the real deal. Now, there's things that happen with DeSantis and how he ruined his campaign, and in my opinion, although he's revived it a little bit, I'm going to get to that. There is what happened last night, and credit to DeSantis and credit to his team. What happened last night, there's absolute reason for DeSantis to be in this race. I would not drop out if I'm DeSantis right now. I'm going to explain that. Haley, Governor, that's a tough one. I mean, she has to stay in for New Hampshire. You can't drop out now, but wow, things have just got a lot more tougher for Governor Haley, Ambassador Haley. We'll talk about that. Vivek did the absolute right thing. The two winners of the night, in my opinion, especially with the weird stuff that was going on with that campaign and vote for me to save Trump. It was very bizarre there. But I really like Vivek, and Vivek's a great guy. But Vivek did the right thing. The two winners last night are Donald Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy, just without any question. Second place winner, if you will, consolation prize. I'm not trying to be cute like that dude that was doing the participation trophy. That was kind of like, come on, bro. Don't, you got to show some respect for the candidates and stuff like that. I like to have fun. Anyway, yes, it was, my wife's got a phone call over there. What was Governor DeSantis? And we'll get to that. Trump won hands down. There's just not even a question. There's not even a close second to that. Why? He just won it far and away. He got over 50%, meaning that like if you add everybody else up, because the rationale is when it's one-on-one, it's Governor Haley, it's me and you, Trump. Well, it doesn't look like it. That's clownery, dude. If you add everybody else up to Trump, they still don't beat Trump. That's what happened last night. Okay. That's why that was such a dominating win. Every demographic, almost every county, anywhere you could go, Trump was winning. I'm sure there's little pockets here, and let's get into it. Let's get into the numbers. Actually, let's talk about that. But before I do that, let's also talk about. Let's go through it. Vivek Ramaswamy, I think, is a second winner because even better than DeSantis, because you have to think of if you're not gonna. Here's the deal. Nobody else is going to beat Trump for the nomination. It's just not going to happen. That should be crystal clear. And even Trump was saying he had leaders calling him up on the phone last night. And it's nice you're supporting him. Trump's speech, acceptance speech was phenomenal, very gracious, trying to bring people together. I mean, just was almost perfect. Talking about Melania's mom, everything like that, giving thanks to his family, giving thanks to his team, it was just phenomenal. And again, here's the problem with people. When they look at politics, you see what you want to see a lot of times. Maybe not you, but a lot of people, right? And it's like, I don't like Trump, so I want to be DeSantis, or I'm a tech bro, and it's all about, and Elon, and we love Elon, we love David Sachs and the tech bros and stuff like that. And in some ways, I'm a tech bro. Okay, that's fine. I don't have that kind of money, but. I was close to the brass ring many times. I haven't got it yet. I'm trying the gold ring. I'm working on it, but I haven't got it yet. But where I started from as a poor boy from Western Pennsylvania. Hey, man. God, thank you, God. Thank you so much. I appreciate it very much, and very, very blessed and everything like that. And I think a lot of people feel that way, right? And this is the land of opportunity and the land of freedom, and that's what we want. Freedom right here. We want to preserve that. We want that for our kid. I want that for my little girl, and I want that for your family and our grandkids and everything like that. Okay, so Vivek is the second winner because you have to think about what's the political future. If Trump's the winner, then why are these other people in the race, and what happens at the end of it? Like, did they improve their political fortunes and standing and whatever goals, whatever you want to say, or did they not? To some degree, DeSantis did tremendous political damage to his brand with this campaign. Haley didn't really have a lot of, in some ways her standing's gone up, definitely, I think, but there's also serious questions that have been raised recently. So I think her brand is in jeopardy. Vivek was unknown, did really well, a little bit of questions. Now he made the move that really rehabilitated, because here's the deal. Vivek's going to campaign for Trump. Vivek can go out there and challenge Nikki Haley and stuff like that in New Hampshire and do all that. Trump doesn't have to do that. He can sail above now. now Vivek clearly positions himself for a future role, maybe in the administration or maybe the VP slot or whatever. So now Team MAGA, and he said that, like I said, that we need a MAGA candidate. We need an America First candidate. And if it wasn't going to be, it was going to be Trump. So it's perfect. Short speech, didn't step on Trump, did the whole thing, called Trump. That was great. Had the family out there, beautiful, family there, his wife, his child. That was perfect. Vivek has positioned himself very well. And he can go out there and be the surrogate and champion it. And it's for a first time run, phenomenal. He didn't do the K16 there. Oh, it's about me or whatever. I'm not alleging anything. I'm not, that's my opinion. It's a talk show host. So Vivek's a winner. So Trump's a big winner. Vivek's a winner. All the votes are in. You can't say anything about Trump. He is a winner. So now all this other stuff that's happening to Trump with all the law stuff, it just takes a different characteristic politically. And I'm not speaking on anything. I'm not, I'm not having any kind of bearing on any kind of proceedings or anything like that. I'm talking politically. I'm talking as a talk show host. Okay, in my opinion, because now all this stuff's happening to the leading political opposition candidate. It's a little different vibe. All right, for all those that want to save democracy and stuff like that, the little different vibe. DeSantis is also a bit of a winner, right? Absolutely. He staved up. If he would have been beaten by Haley and was in third place, that would have been just devastating for DeSantis. And really, you'd have to think that maybe it's time to get out or just, it would have been a zombie campaign, in my opinion. So the fact that he was able to, and him and his team and the supporters and the Iowa, give credit to all of them, were able to secure that second place win, even though it was a very second place finish, if you will, showing, whatever you want to call it, even though it was very, very distant from Trump. That is a big accomplishment, and it keeps him, in the race. So now if DeSantis is, because basically he has a rationale to say, okay, I second place in Iowa, maybe I'm going to lose in New Hampshire. No one expected him to win in New Hampshire, but I think he's there campaigning today. Then he goes to South Carolina. If he's second place in South Carolina and beats Haley in her own state, whatever happened in New Hampshire will punk her out in South Carolina. And then it's like, okay, you then position yourself later down the road as a possible next generation candidate, right? For 2028, when Trump's term is done, if he gets elected or if he doesn't get, whatever it is, right? So now it makes sense for DeSantis to stay in there to position for 2028 and rehabilitate the damage to the reputation and brand. So it makes sense for DeSantis to stay in, but he's got to keep winning. He's got to keep performing. If Haley starts beating him, then all that goes out the window. So, there is going to be a fight for airtime and resources and donors and volunteers and all this type of stuff. So, DeSantis put so much into, Iowa that he had to have this result, and he got it. But there's still a lot of challenges here for DeSantis. Now, Governor Haley, Ambassador Haley, not a great showing. Of course, it's better than what we thought. There was a surge there. There was if you look 2 months ago, much better than that, right? Okay, fine. But it wasn't certainly nothing close to the win. You didn't beat DeSantis. This result was perfect for Trump because it really muddies who's really the challenger to Trump, right? Why he's over 50%, you can't get a better result. And then Vivek drops out and endorses him. You cannot get a better result if you're Donald Trump, other than like something that wasn't going to happen, which is like wins by 7, wins to 70%. I mean, come on. He did a historic win, okay. But if you're Governor Haley, Ambassador Haley, listen, you have to start sharpen up. You can't be, with the Civil War questions or the Ukraine provinces or whatever. It doesn't mean you have to be Encyclopedia Britannica, but it does mean that you can't sit there and I can't remember who it was. And one of the questions from CNN, the town hall, I never said that. Well, actually, here's where you said it. It's like you really have to become, let me rephrase that. Ambassador Haley cannot be do this purple strategy thing, can't be speaking to the Gerald Scarboroughs and the Mika Brzezinskis of the world. I'm not saying don't go on the show. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you can't be saying that that's who you're going. If you were the never Trump wing and the Democratic wing of the Republican Party, there's no lane to win there on the GOP primary. It's just not. It's just like what Mitt Romney or someone said. Oh, you gotta. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was one of these commentators on TV. You know, to lose the primary to win the general. Like what? But this is the crazy stuff. They love cute phrases in Washington and stuff like that. This is the crazy stuff that they convince themselves of. No. You have to be, whatever your brand is, whatever message you want to do, you need to be authentic on that. There's a lot of question marks. I think Vivek and others in these debates, I'm not going to rehash them here, raised a lot of questions. You have to figure out ways to answer that. You have to figure out how to connect with voters. This is a presidential campaign. You have to step up to that scene. And in some ways you have, in some ways I don't think you have. Because I mean, and people say it's a well-worn cliche, but there's something to it that the presidential campaign and those Klieg lights, if you will, or whatever of the studio, the presidential campaign is going to reveal who you are over time. And I think it has, and you have to, and I think that a lot of people are saying, wait, I mean, why do you think Senator Rand Paul came out and says, never Nikki? No, it's maybe a little harsh and maybe not something I would do. I mean, I think it's clever, from a fundraising standpoint and political branding. It's just not, I tell Paul, like, oh, that's pretty clever and something. I think I could ever do that. It's not. I'm not against it. I'm not slamming, Senator Paul, but that's just not. There's a lot of things that, again, I probably should have a bigger show, but there's a lot of things that I just won't do. Right. And I don't want to go down this road, but I mean, the point is that like, there's a point there, right? I mean, there's a point there. The problem with that whole thing is I think there's a lot of things that can be misinterpreted there or be, knowingly misinterpreted, if you will. There's a lot of, I think it's a short phrase. I get it, but there's a lot of explanation that has to go into that kind of branding, and I think that would take whomever off the focus of whatever and get you down into potential rabbit holes. Because the thing of it is when someone says never Nikki to someone like me who's an expert who follows this, I understand what that means. But when you put that out there in the general public, I think that's easily misinterpreted, and I think that it's just I don't like the never any. I mean, because that's just. That just shows that this moment in time, everything about this person. They're never going to change. They're never going to evolve. They're never going to apologize. You know what I mean? Like I don't like the never Trump and I'm not never Nikki. You know what I mean? Like if we don't like it for never Trump, then why would we like it for never Nikki? So there's a lot of problems with that I have, politically, spiritually, otherwise. But it is to say that, there's something there in that, Senator Paul is tapping into a very much of an uneasiness with some of the things that the voters have found out that we've seen on the campaign trail, whether it's responding to, history, whatever, knowing stuff, Civil War started in her state, it's Fort Sumter there in South Carolina, whether it's remembering what she said and I never said, it's a lot of things. And really just interventionism and on all of these things that a lot of people are having some concerns and questions with. But the point is, from a political standpoint, I do expect Governor Haley to do well in New Hampshire. How well, we'll see. I think with Vivek, dropping out and being able to be the surrogate, I think that's going to be very interesting. Will Trump do a debate? Doesn't really look like he has to. And if you do a debate, it's definitely not going to be a one-on-one. Governor Haley can't demand a one-on-one debate with Trump when she just lost to DeSantis. So it's going to be very, very interesting. What I'm saying is that DeSantis is, I think, on the right course here. It needs to stay the course for where it's going to be. Trump's doing phenomenal. And, really just needs to get out there and campaign. The press has to cover him. This, we're going to go away. We're not going to cover the speech. That was ridiculous. That was so silly. Like you can't even, the public should not be, I'm sure we'll have comments on that. And that is not cool. You can't be doing that. Governor Haley, I think, needs to, step it up and figure out, needs to define that campaign more. In other words, like, why? Why would I vote for Governor Haley? What do you stand for? If you're not going to win, Trump's going to win the primary. So where do you want to come out on the other side of this? Is this about, and I'm not alleging anything, I'm just saying candidate X, whomever, candidate Y, doesn't matter. Or do you want to come out of this with book deals? Do you want to roll on Fox? You want to just get, build up the name idea? You're setting yourself up for 2028, whatever it is. But part of that is you have to make this brand and define the brand. And I don't really think that I think that this is going to be a little bit of a weird thing I'm going to say here. In a lot of ways, Governor Haley got more popular, but who did she get more popular with? It almost reminds me, you got to be careful not to veer into this Liz Cheney lane where basically you're seen as this interventionalist, this neocon, if you will, or whatever. I don't, some people have already talked about, Nikki's a little too pro-war or something like that. But your name ID's up and you're popular, but you're popular with the Democrats. You're popular with the MSNBC crowd. Now, if that's what you want to do, you can do that. A lot of people have done that. You know what I mean? I mean, Joe Scarborough's has had a show on MSNBC for quite some time and has done very well and, making a lot more money than you would in Congress. I'm quite sure of that. So I don't know. I'm not his accountant. I don't know what they pay over there at MSNBC, but I mean, I think that job would be, of course, I'm in media. I think that job's a lot more fun and all that. So anyway, you understand what I'm trying to say. I think that this is a huge, huge win for Trump. I told you what was going to happen. I laid it out. So you can say whatever about me, but I've been right about so much. I've laid it out. I told you what was going to happen. You just look at the show yesterday. What did I say? I said it was Trump probably by over 50%. I said it was going to be close for second. I would probably put DeSantis there, and I had the margin. I had the percentages right around there. And then Haley, and I said this was everything, and I said Vivek should drop out and endorse Trump. And what happened? It's about exactly that. So I'm pretty good, dude. Once again, I'm pretty good. I'm ahead of the game. That's why people watch me. That's why my phone blows up. That's why people are like, oh, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? It's all good. But I mean, it's not about me. It's about you. It's about Trump. And big night. And we'll see where it goes from here. But I'm excited about it. I think this is interesting. We're in a different phase. 2024 is here. The votes are on. The election is on. Where's Biden? What are the Democrats going to do? And, Britt Hume, like the Democrats had a chance to replace Biden and they didn't. That was his quote. And there you go. So now there's a lot happening, and we're going to have to talk about it in the upcoming John D. Villarreal shows here on when I'm on News Talk 1040 and really beyond, because I'm going to be doing a lot more live shows here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook as well. There's so much to talk about, but there's also real stuff out there beyond politics. I mean, that's the other thing is everything's been politicized, right? But we need to talk about the economy, what's going to happen, what's happening in real estate. We need to talk about what's happening in tech, is what's happening in the professions. Laws changing, medicine's changing. There's so many different things that are going on out there that need our attention, and it's a shifting world. Automotive is changing like this. I'm having people calling me up and like, hey John, I think we have 5 or 10 years, or hey John, I think we have less, or hey, Elon's not going to stop selling cars. I'm like, no, he's not. I mean, it's getting very, very different, and yet I see some people out there winning too. So how do you do it? What's the new way? So it's so much to talk about. Anyway, I want to hit you with that. That's the analysis. That's the recap from last night. It's very interesting. There's going to be a lot of things we're going to talk about going forward, but I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much. My name is John D. Villarreal. Have a great day. I will talk to you next time.